I believe that what I'm about to say may be controversial to some, especially to those who see themselves as highly selfless and noble. And that is a perspective on the idea of letting others stomp on you, which is another concept of toxic self sacrifice. I would like to challenge this mindset in hopes to rock your thought provoking insights on the notion. If you think a lot about it, it is honestly baffling. It can be so easily and fastly toxic should you become unaware of its gravity of effect. Society often praises selflessness and sacrifice for the greater good, but there is a fine line between healthy altruism and allowing oneself to be consistently mistreated or taken advantage of. Like, why would anyone willingly subject themselves to that? I get that we were told that self sacrifice is a noble thing, but come on. There is a difference between being selfless and being a doormat. It is as if people have this warped sense of virtue that involves letting others trample all over your dignity. And I just can't wrap my head around it. Now, others would agree with what I am trying to point out, arguing that constantly putting others' needs before your own to the point where you allow them to mistreat you may lead to a lack of self respect and can perpetuate a cycle of unhealthy relationships. It raises the question about the balance between empathy and self preservation, challenging the conventional wisdom that unconditionally giving to others is always virtuous. I mean, really give it some three-dimensional thought if you would. There is this romanticized notion of sacrificing for the greater good. But when does it cross the line? When does it become a toxic form of selflessness that is more about being a pushover than making a genuine positive impact? The more we keep turning a blind eye and pursue such actions, the more we condition ourselves to believe that putting up with mistreatment is somehow noble. But the thing is, you cannot buy into that. You just can't. You are not supposed to. If you are asking yourself, why? Well, I will tell you, it is not because of being selfish, but more so because being so boundaryless and selfless will cost you your whole self. You're sacrificing, you're giving, and you are surrendering yourselves to other people and to the world by letting them define you and say random things about you, regardless if it is true or not, to the point that they could take over your life's narrative and direct its course. Aren't you afraid of the possibility of losing yourself over to people's opinions? That you would lose your sense of uniqueness and sanity? Just why would you let anyone down you? For what reason greater than self-preservation would be more valuable and have better worth that you would be willing to surrender your own control to something so inconsistent? Let's not even get started on the whole idea of peace at any cost. Conflict is not great. Yes, it is uncomfortable. We already know that. But at what point does avoiding confrontation becomes a weakness rather than a virtue? It is almost like we were taught to fear any form of disagreement or standing up for ourselves. Now, I don't know about you, but I would rather have a bit of conflict and maintain my self respect than be a perpetual doormat for the sake of some superficial harmony. The thing is, it really is a bit cowardly, don't you see? Choosing the path of least resistance, even when it means letting others walk all over you, is not brave. I would even vouch for it being a foolish act of false bravery and nobility. But deep down, it is only hiding some sort of insecurity that is afraid to be let known. It is just a way to avoid the discomfort of standing up for yourself. It is not always about bravado. Letting others consistently stomp on you erodes your dignity and self-respect. And for what? To fulfill some societal expectation of being the sacrificial lamb? I think they're strict in setting boundaries and demanding respect. It takes courage to say, enough is enough. However dreading a confrontation may seem, sometimes you really just gotta step up and say, hey, I matter too. And after that, don't overthink the opinions people will have to say about you. You gave your word, set your boundary, and that should be that. You are standing up for yourself. You are protecting yourself from further harm, and that is enough. That is healthy self-love. And that is what I'd like to see. You owning yourself and fighting for your worth and dignity by recognition that no one else will. I genuinely believe that true self-sacrifice involves uplifting others without compromising your own well-being or dignity. Sacrificing your happiness, your self-respect, just for the sake of avoiding conflict or pleasing others. That is not noble. That is self-destructive. Finding the balance between empathy and self-preservation is what is noble. We need to challenge this narrative that being a pushover is virtuous. It is time to redefine what it means to be selfless. And definitely, we can also encourage healthy relationships where respect is mutual, not ones where one person is constantly sacrificing their well-being for the sake of others. In the end, it is about finding the courage to stand up for yourself, to prioritize your own happiness and dignity. Being a doormat might be the easier route, but it is certainly not the path to true fulfillment or genuine self-sacrifice. Let us not confuse weakness with virtue. There is strength in self-respect, and that is a narrative worth embracing.